What's up everybody, Demon back, welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be reviewing The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 10. This one's titled, New Best Friend. So this one was an alright one. This one was not as good as last week in my opinion. It was still a fairly good episode of Walking Dead. The thing that I had a problem with is that something felt off the whole episode. That may have been intentional. We'll definitely go into that in the breakdown, but I don't know. Just something felt a little bit off throughout this episode. It kind of fixes itself halfway through, but the first half of the episode definitely felt a little weird. So the things that really stand out this episode that make it really good are obviously the whole sequence with Rick at this new junkyard community when he gets taken to the up, and then he's pushed down that walker pit. He has to fight that big, huge spike walker, which is awesome. There are some pretty good sequences throughout this episode, such as there's that. We got a lot of cool stuff with kind of Daryl, sort of. I don't like Daryl, but there was a lot of Daryl moments, like Daryl and Carol's reuniting was pretty good, considering it's like a good character moment. Then there was some other stuff that was, you know, decent. I'm trying to remember what all happens this episode. It doesn't seem like a ton even happened this episode. It felt like most of the episode was Daryl at the hilltop, or at the kingdom, I'm sorry. Daryl at the kingdom, and that seemed to be the whole episode. We did get that cool stuff with Rick at the junkyard, but that didn't seem to be the main focus of the episode. It's cool to see that Morgan is finally starting to realize, alright, things are going south with the Saviors. It seems like Ezekiel's starting to realize that more too, so maybe we're working our way towards them eventually joining in with Rick to fight the Saviors. Rick wound up getting a new best friend, so to speak, in the form of Father Gabriel, who was Rick's hype man the whole episode. Really seemed to give everyone a great pep talk about how awesome Rick is and how he can do anything, which also led to Rick's hand getting impaled. So, that's a pretty sweet scene too. So, or, you know, obviously, but that's a pretty cool thing that happened to his hand, because that's clearly a reference, sort of, to when Rick gets his hand cut off in the Walking Dead comics. So it seems like they're really setting this up once again. We'll talk a lot about this in the breakdown this week. Really setting up a big injury to one of our characters in the form of a hand throughout this whole season. And if it's going to be Rick at the end of the season, I'd be all for that. It seems like the other person that could be is Daryl, or it could be no one. I don't know. That's the fun thing about speculating. So Gabriel's really on board with Rick now. Rick was right. Gabriel didn't desert them. He was actually kidnapped. We also talked a lot about that in the breakdown this week, that Gabriel was actually he did not run away. He was actually taken from Alexandria, and he had to steal all the food. So good to know that we got that right, got that prediction right. We seem to be pretty on point with our predictions with that breakdown we just did. So maybe it'll be 2 for 2, and we'll get it again this week. Who knows? I don't quite know. But overall, this is a fairly decent episode. Probably gonna give it like, I don't know, an 8 out of 10. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. So I'm gonna have to watch it a couple more times, because for whatever reason, this one just seems to not be terribly memorable, which is kind of a problem, but I'm sure the more I watch it, I'll like it more. That typically happens with Walking Dead, other than episodes like Swear. Oh, I hate that episode. But other than episodes like that, typically the more I watch it, the more I like it. So who knows? Who knows how it will go? Maybe when I do the breakdown, I'll rate it higher because I wind up liking it more. So, thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. D-Man, out.